Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy, Derrick Henry, recent running back. Not recent, but running back for the Tennessee Titans. Turn this up, son. Yeah, the running back for the Tennessee Titans finally got his money. A 4-year deal, 4-year, $50 million deal. Um, that includes a $25.5 million guarantee. So that would be about maybe 70 or 80 million altogether. Now, Derrick Henry has his money. Now, one of the questions that were asked in this group I was in on Facebook, who would you who would you have who would you start your who would you going forward, who would you basically build your team around? Would it be Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey? Now, now the um now the stats basically this Henry entered the league in 2016. So he had 110 attempts for 490 yards his first year, 4.5 yards he averaged. Um Hold on. Let me get a better look. Okay, here we go. His first year basically, um, he played in 15 games. He only started two, so he had 110 rushing attempts for 490 yards, five touchdowns. His receiving, he had 15 targets, 13 receptions for 137 yards, 10.5 yards after reception. Um, and he caught it 87% of the time, zero fumbles. And I think 123, no, yeah, he had that many touches. Okay, so his second year, he had played in 16 games and started two, had 176 rushing attempts for 744 yards. He had five TDs. His yards, his longest yards were 75. His first year was 22. Average a game, I would say 7.3 his first year, and it jumped to 11. His receiving was about the same, 17 targets, 11 receptions, 136 yards. And he had one fumble, which was it. Um, the next year, 2018, was basically his breakout year. Derrick Henry had 16 games he played, 12 he started, so his numbers are going to be better. 215 rushing attempts for 1,059 yards, 12 touchdowns, 13.4 he averaged per game. And his targets went up to 18, received by 15, 99 yards. He had one fumble. That was it. Touchdowns, he had 12. Compared to his first 2 years, he had only 5, but he had 12 in that year. Now his fourth year, which was just the previous year, was a excuse me, was a big career jump. He had 15 games he played, 15 he started. His rush attempts went up to 303 from 215 the previous year. His yards went from 1,059 to 1,540, and he had 16 TDs. He went up from 12 the previous year. His longest run was 74, where the year before that he had 99. Averaged about 20.2 on the ground. Target, he had 24 targets this year, went up from 18. He had 18 receptions and went up from 15. And then his yards, he had 206 yards receiving. And but he fumbled 5 times. So that's kind of alarming to look at. He fumbled 5 times, but that's Derrick Henry now. And we're going to look at his career overall. His career is 804 rush attempts for 3,833 yards, and he has a total of 38 TDs. And he's played in 62 games. Now, Christian McCaffrey basically has only played for 3 years. He came in 2017. Now his first year running, he played 16 games. He only started 10. His rushing attempts was 117. He averaged 435 yards. 2 TDs. His receptions, his receiving, he had, his longest run I believe was 40. His receiving, he was targeted 113 times. He had 80 receptions for 651 yards, and he only had 2 fumbles. Now, the next year in 2018, he got a lot better. Rushing, 219 rush attempts for over 1,000 yards. He had 7 TDs where he had 2 the previous year. He basically he had 5 TDs the year before receiving, and he had 6 TDs this year. He had 6 TDs this following season. He had 107. Am I looking at that right? Yeah, he was targeted 124 times, 107 receptions for 867 yards, 6 TDs, and he fumbled 4 times. His last year that just happened, he played in all 16 games again. He's showing durability. 287 attempts for 1,387 rush yards. 15 TDs. He jumped up tremendously from 7. And receiving, he had 116 receptions and 1,005 yards. So he gave you 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards running, which is impressive. He went down in his touchdowns receiving. He had 4 where he had 6 previous year. And he only had 1 fumble, which is his best season of holding on to the ball. Now, going forward, his career is 48 games he's played, 623 rushing yards for 623 rushing attempts for 2,920 yards, which is 2,920 yards, and he has 24 TDs. Now, going forward, who would you pick? Would you pick Derrick Henry or would you pick Christian McCaffrey? Out of those guys, who would you go forward with? Now, to me, it depends on what you need. Christian McCaffrey is going to sell you tickets because the majority of the people who buy the tickets are basically the pink folk, white people. Derrick Henry would be a guy you would bring along if you have somebody there already. If you have some good receivers and you have a decent quarterback, then you would bring Henry in because Henry would be more of a ground and pound guy. Running downhill, Derrick Henry's better of the two. He's a better running back. He has better ball carrying vision between the tackles, the A gap, the B, and the C, the one gap, the 2, the 3 gap. He knows how to find the hole. For his size, Derrick Henry is very fast and very quick. He has great feet to be 6'3", like 240 or 250. Workout warrior, very durable. After the contact, Derrick Henry gets stronger with contact. So as much as you hit him, he's dishing it back out. What he did to the Ravens last year in the playoffs was amazing. Against the Chiefs, they got down sorta, but in that game, he was doing what he was supposed to do. He was running that rock. A lot of times you've seen him and Vrabel on the sideline going at it like, look, man, give me the ball. I want the ball. And that's what I like from him. Derrick Henry has heart. He wants to win. Receiving the ball out the backfield, obviously, is Chris McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is basically, he's the son of one of the great Bronco receivers, Ed McCaffrey, who was a beast back in the day. He helped John Elway get 2 rings. Now, Christian McCaffrey, he started out, great with receiving, because where he went to school at, let me remember, I forgot where he went to school at. Trying to remember. I think it was Stanford. Wasn't it Stanford he went to? Trying to remember. Because I know Derrick Henry went to Alabama. He looked like an Alabama back. Right. Oh, man. Excuse me. Now, oh, man. Sinuses. All right. Now, Christian McCaffrey is from Stanford. Basically, he was a receiving back in college. He could come out the backfield. The question they had about Christian McCaffrey, can he run between the tackles? He's proven in the NFL he can. He can run between the tackles. He's good, but he's not an effective runner as Henry, because that's basically Derrick Henry's game, is running. He's a true, pure running back. That's Derrick Henry. Christian McCaffrey, you would put him on your team because he's white for one, and he's a running back. That's very rare. That's like a white heavyweight in boxing. So basically, he would be able to market your team a little better, because the media is basically ran by Jews and white folks. So basically, he would be a more marketable person you would want for your team if you need that face of your team, like they're doing now. They got rid of Cam. They did Cam real dirty. That's another story we'll talk about later. But Chris McCaffrey would be your pick for running back you would want to go to, basically to go forward with your franchise if you need a face of your franchise. Derrick Henry, to me, isn't a face. He's a valuable piece. He's a valuable piece where you would need him in the game, especially like they did in the playoffs, because Tannehill is basically an average quarterback. So he'll get you the ball in the end zone. He'll make the right throws, the right reads. He'll do what he's supposed to do. And then from there, Derrick Henry just weighs it down. This is the thing that Dallas should have done with Dak. But the problem is Ezekiel Elliott was out of shape, and he looked terrible last year. So when Ezekiel isn't going or he's revving up, then the passing game and everything was gonna struggle because of the offense that they had. The offense that they run did not fit Dak Prescott, because for one, that offense, you have to put Dak more in a shotgun phase, in a shotgun formation, or 5 wide, 4 wide, or you could have 2 tights, 2 wide outs. You could run that type of set. But with the Titans, the thing the Titans do is they do the same thing New England does. Because remember, Vrabel won Super Bowls there, and he's a Bill Belichick disciple. So now Derrick Henry basically is your running back that will make that system go, because you could give him the ball 20 to 30 times, or maybe you can go to 35 or 40 rushing attempts. He will be effective. And then Tannehill just got to make the throws. All you need Tannehill to do is complete between throw or attempt like 15 to 25 passes a game, maybe not even 30. You don't even he's not a real he doesn't have to throw the ball that many times. Because if you make Tannehill throw the ball that many times, you could beat the Titans. And that's why the Chiefs beat the Titans, because they neutralized Henry, and then the Titans went away from that because the Chiefs got ahead scoring. So that's how you could beat them. Blocking. Derrick Henry's a better blocker than Christian McCaffrey. A lot physical, but Christian McCaffrey, don't underestimate him. Chris can block. He can throw his head in there and make sure. And then he's come back a little brolic. He's a little bit more bigger. But going forward, if I had to pick, I would pick Christian McCaffrey, because Christian McCaffrey not only can give you 1,000 on the ground, he can give you 1,000 through the air. Derrick Henry is okay in the receiving game, but he's not that nimble. To me, he's a guy you would throw it like, if he's like on a flare, a halfback flare, you just throw it out there to him, or you just do a shovel pass, or like if he runs through the line and sits there like a running back hitch, you just throw the ball right to him and then he could just go. But he's not a guy you could put in the slot, or you could put at the wing, or you could line up outside. Christian McCaffrey could do all of that. He could play the outside. He could play the inside. He could be an X. He could be a Y. He could be a U. He could be an F. Football people know what I'm talking about. So Christian McCaffrey could do all those things. So I would go with him, and plus he's marketable. You need marketability. You need to bring money into your franchise. Now, not saying Derrick Henry isn't great. If you choose Derrick Henry, I would not be mad at you. Derrick Henry is a great back. He's a great back. The past 2 seasons, he really took off. McCaffrey took off after his first year. The next 2 seasons, he balled out, where it took Henry his 3rd season to actually come into his own. And he has. So, but I'm looking for the Titans to win the AFC South. I think they're going to win the AFC South. I don't really see it. That defense is tough. It's number 1 or top 5. Tannehill just has to continue doing his game managing thing. I think they overpaid for him too much. They paid him way too much money for what he is. And Derrick Henry, just keep giving him the ball. And then I forgot the other running back they have. He played in New England. He's decent. He's a good switch of pace back. He's more of a McCaffrey type back, but the only difference is he's not as talented as McCaffrey. So overall, I would give the edge to McCaffrey. As far as he could do both, he's a dual threat. But as far as pure running back, I go with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is your pure running back. But Christian McCaffrey is an all-around back. He can do everything. Everything. You could put him in any position. So, to me, the edge would go to him. The Panthers, I don't really see the Panthers doing anything. I believe the Panthers are going to finish 4th, maybe, in NFC South. Because the Bucks are going to be better with Brady. And who else? Who else in that division? The Saints are going to be okay. The Falcons are done to me. I think the Falcons and the Panthers are going to be on the bottom, and the Saints and Bucks are going to look up. But Chris McCaffrey is going to be a real intricate part to helping the Panthers this year, because Teddy Bridgewater, he's going to take the pressure off of Teddy, so Teddy could do his thing, game manage, play his role, and the Panthers could get some wins. So, again, to recap, Derrick Henry is the better pure running back. To be a running back, he's the best running back out the 2, but McCaffrey is a better all-around back because he's a dual threat. He's a receiving back as well as he can run on the ground. So, that's my take. La boy.